All right, what's up everybody? So I think today's video for the most part is going to be more of a discussion than anything. I may not even end up really playing anything. Maybe we'll save that for a follow-up video. But today I would like to talk about playing in a two guitar setup in a band with there being two electric guitars and maybe some of the expectations that come with that. So yeah, we'll just jump right in. So the first thing that I think I'd like to address that I feel maybe that some people feel like I don't know the validity in this or not, but it's always something that I've kind of felt is the idea that the lead guitar player is the best guitar player, and that isn't necessarily the case. I mean, this is an eighth grade band where you have your first chair instrument and they're the best, and then so on and so forth down the line. It honestly just comes down to the way that you choose to split your parts up as you're talking with your other guitar player. There is a lot of artistry and technique in playing rhythm guitar, and I absolutely love it. I mean, as a guitar player, I do both. Sometimes I'm the only guitar player. Sometimes there are two, and I love when I get to play rhythm. I love when I get to play lead, and I love when I'm in a position to cover both. So just to get that out of the way, because you're playing rhythm does not mean you are less of a guitar player. And as a rhythm guitar player, you have a very specific role to play. You've got your drums and bass who are going to be your music foundation, and rhythm guitar sits right in there with them. You're helping glue those pieces together and adding to it, and you've got your own space carved out in the mix just for you. And yeah, it's a fun place to live. Whether you're ringing out chords like kind of at each change, or you're driving through something, you absolutely are contributing, and that's not lost or a pointless space to operate in. So definitely I would say when you are operating in a setup with two electrics, make sure that the two electric guitar players are talking with each other ahead of time. You guys are working out who's covering rhythm and who's covering lead. And I would say, like, if you're in a position to flip between songs, like, hey, I'll take lead on this one, you take lead on this one, whatever, definitely talk that out in advance. You'd be surprised how often those conversations don't happen, and that's crazy to me. You've got to know what's going on in order to prepare appropriately and to show up and make sure that ultimately expectations are met. So for sure, connect with the other guitar player, come up with a plan, and ultimately execute. If you are playing rhythm guitar, obviously stick to that. I feel like sometimes if I'm playing lead on a song and somebody's playing rhythm and maybe they get a little bit too excited and they jump up into more of a lead space, it makes it difficult for me if I'm playing lead to try and navigate around something that wasn't necessarily planned for. So definitely stick to it. If you're playing rhythm, just play rhythm and enjoy it. So typically what that would entail is, maybe you're playing power chords through that progression of the song, or, you're somewhere down at the bottom of the neck working through those chords, or maybe you're capoed working through those chords. Just stay there, stick with it, and enjoy the ride. I know there, like I mentioned, there have been times where someone will get excited and try to play lead underneath the lead player, and we don't need that under lead. It's not like we're harmonizing parts or anything like that. So it's just stick with it. Stick with what you talked about. Your engineers created a spot in that mix for you, and so it's your responsibility to continue to fill that mix. And again, that could be driving through, ringing eighth notes through your chords, or just kind of playing like a nice picking pattern, locking in with your drummer and your bass player. But it's a fun place to live in. I know generally when I play, very rarely is it like, hey, you are the lead player and you're only playing lead, and then this other guy only plays rhythm. Like generally there's some back and forth, and generally that changes from song to song. I would think that if you and your guitar player have discussed who's playing rhythm and lead, generally I would leave that in place like through the whole song. That way you don't have your engineer chasing down who's playing lead at what moment. So if you're playing rhythm for a song, stick with it through the whole song. And then let's say maybe next song now you're playing lead. Like you would expect when you're playing lead for your rhythm player to stay in rhythm. So yeah, definitely honor that and respect that and operate in that space, obviously the best that you can. To recap, when you're in a 2-guitar setup, obviously talk parts. Make sure you've got a clean plan put in place so that you know what's going to happen. Stick to that plan. Don't get yourself too amped up or too excited and kind of break yourself out of the parts that you had spoken about. And again, playing rhythm does not mean that you are less of a guitar player at all. That's a weird, I guess, stigma or thought process or anything. It means nothing. It means you are playing chords rather than playing like the melodic parts or solos or stuff like that, and that is not at all a bad thing. So I hope just this brief discussion is helpful to you, and I hope that maybe it can help provide some clarity or maybe clear up some questions that you've had as a rhythm guitar player. Well, thank you so much for watching. My name is Colin Rich. I know this has been a little bit more of a discussion, or all of a discussion rather than playing like I normally would. But I appreciate you watching. If you would, subscribe, click the bell so you'll be notified when new videos are posted. And thank you so much for watching.